Happy 2026, y'alls. This is one of my favorite pictures here. I'm going to do a 2026 portfolio review. I use a lot of pie charts and graphs. They help me kind of visualize my growth and how well I'm doing. It also helps keep me motivated from year to year. So I'll show you some of that. I'll also show you some of my best and worst stock picks. I'll show you what my progress has been, and not a flex, just kind of sharing information. And if you think it's helpful or you think it might help you, feel free to contact me. I can try to help you with both your budget and investing if you're a beginner and kind of looking for more information. Okay, enjoy the rest of the video, guys. Here's the 3 worst performing stocks in the red. Top 3 best performing stocks. Okay, so this year portfolio is up about 17%. Total cumulative 273%. That's over probably about 11 years, I think. For this year, 2025, portfolio appreciation is about 54,000, and then dividends were about 4,100 this year. So total passive income was about 54 plus 4, so about $58,000. $58,000 this year for passive income, but this is just the actually my mostly my taxable brokerage account. Does not include my 401k or 403b in my case. 403b is probably like I don't know. I mean, appreciation plus dividend, it's probably close to about, I'd say about maybe 70 grand, appreciation plus dividend. Probably about 70 grand for my 401k, and that includes 3% match, and that's over about 8 years. Okay, so for total taxable brokerage account, appreciation was about 160,000 over probably about 11 years, and dividends about 15,000 over 11 years. So total about 160, 170, 175, about 175,000 over 11 years of passive income. And technically, the first year of my investing, I had no clue what I was doing. So first year didn't go that well. I think I invested about $1,160 my first year, because number one, I didn't know what I was doing, and number two, I was kind of scared to throw money in the stock market because I knew nothing about it. In fact, I believe about 900 of that was in actually bonds. So you see my bond dividend is $6. And then I think I bought 1 share of stock. Horrible buy is like, I think oil stock. It tanked like 10% after owning it for a week or two, and I actually ended up sold it 2 weeks after I bought it. So that oil stock, I think, went down $4, so I lost $4 the first year. Yeah. So first year investing, I made a whopping, 6 minus 4. I made a whopping $2 investing my first year because I didn't know what I was doing. Actually, it's pretty conservative. 90% of that 1160 was in bonds, and then one reckless share of oil stock. So live and learn. All right, so this is kind of bar graph depiction of my total portfolio. I found it's helpful to do this, and as it helps me increase my motivation to keep on saving every year, and kind of gives me a mental boost that I'm making progress and doing the right thing. So the very left side, I believe, started at 2016 logging this, and then the very right side is beginning of 2026 what I have. So you can see on the very left, hardly had anything. Before that, before 2016, I think I actually had negative equity in my condo, so that didn't really help the net worth at all at that point. So all I had is cash. Didn't really know much about investing, so didn't have any stocks. I think I had like an old 401k left, but I only had like two grand in it or something like that. So not much to begin with in 2016. And then you can see, so the blue is my stock portfolio. So in 2016, I had hardly any. You can barely see anything. And then obviously, that has increased quite a bit, and that has been intentional. So all that blue is passive income there. And hopefully over time that will compound. Especially if you keep it in the S&P 500, typically your ETF or mutual fund will typically compound or double in 7 to 10 years, depending on how well the S&P 500 performs over time. And then red is cash position. My goal has been to try to decrease that to probably 10% of my portfolio. Kind of hard. Used to having a big security blanket to, from a mental standpoint, feel safe and use it as a security blanket, but it does get eroded due to inflation, which is usually 2 to 3% per year. You can see in the middle there that I probably had up to 50% of my portfolio was cash. So that was obviously right when I was starting to learn about how to buy stocks and learn more about picking stocks. And I'm not recommending that you pick stocks because realistically, you're probably going to come out ahead if you do S&P 500 fund, like an ETF, versus buying single stocks, unless you're some type of stock savant, which most people are not. In fact, S&P 500 fund beats 80% of professional traders on a yearly basis. So everybody thinks they're badass at picking stocks, but in reality, majority of people are not. Anyways, getting off on a tangent there. So in the middle there, I had 50% cash compared to my total portfolio. I think I've done a pretty good job decreasing that out to 2026. But obviously difficult if you have a kind of a scarcity mindset, such as myself, growing up poor. Having that extra cash to me is a kind of a mental boost and a good security blanket to make me feel like I don't have to worry about stuff. But I know it does get eroded to inflation, which is usually 2 to 3% per year. So keep working on that. And then the yellow is real estate. All I have is my primary residence or my condo. So you can see over time, the equity in that has increased pretty well. Some of that is through, property appreciation, and a lot of it is because I've just dumped extra payments into it, and obviously I paid it off early. So the property is paid off. You can see probably in the last 4 years, if anything, the yellow has actually decreased a little bit. I'm not sure in your guys' geographic area, but definitely in Seattle area, condos are not doing well. So my real estate holding has actually decreased a little bit. Hopefully that changes in the future, but we'll see. But yeah, so I like these bar graphs just for comparison and also for motivation. So you can see so far everything's been going up year over year. So that's great, and that is the continued goal. All right, what's up, guys? 2026 portfolio review. I actually just discovered these pie graphs. Pretty good. I used to use just the bar graphs, which I'll show you in a second here. But I think the pie charts are pretty good for kind of trying to look at a kind of a bigger global view of this. Okay, so real estate, all I have is just my primary residence. And I think the total value or the price of my condo has actually gone down over the past 2 or 3 years, unfortunately. So real estate wise, it's about 34% of my total portfolio. Hopefully that improves in the coming years period. Next we have my taxable account, which is mostly ETFs and stocks. It is up to 30% of my total portfolio this year. So that's good. It's basically passive income. So hopefully that keeps on growing. And then next we have my 403B. I believe I have like a 3% match, I believe. Maybe a little bit more, but that's up to 15%. Typically don't do a lot of 403B, or haven't been, but I have slowly been increasing the contribution by 1% a year. Not every year, but I have been at my current job 8 years, so probably at least every other year I've been trying to increase it 1%. I just don't like to max out the 403B just because you can't touch it till you're, I believe, 60 without a penalty. So we got the 403B there. Basically, as all mutual funds, I think I have mostly like S&P 500 for majority of it, a little bit of total international, and a little bit of a total bond mutual fund. I think I have a 3-fund portfolio make up for the 403B. And then cash position actually improved. It's down to 12%. I think it was 17% of my portfolio last year. So I have slowly been trying to decrease the cash position. The goal is probably about 10% of my portfolio. But I may be making some career changes, so it might be good to have a little extra cash on hand. Plus, for me, it makes me feel a little bit, gives me kind of a little security blanket feeling that I can quit, I can get fired, a lot of stuff can happen, and I'll still be okay. Next one is my rollover IRAs. Those are basically old 401ks. That's about 4% of my total portfolio. Usually don't include cars, but because they're a depreciating asset, so they're going to get less and less every year. But I thought just something interesting to throw on there. It's about less than 4% of my portfolio, and that's for 2 cars, but they're both paid off. And then the very smallest, like blue slice up there, you probably can't see, is my Roth IRA. So that's probably the smallest position. So I didn't calculate it out. I'm guessing it's probably like probably like 1.5%. Roth IRA 1.5%. So I think I improved it a little bit compared to last year. Definitely one of my big goals was getting my cash position down. I know all the experts are going to say, oh yeah, you're losing a lot of money to inflation if you keep it in cash, but that's fine. I keep it in I try to keep the cash in a high interest savings account. So we'll kind of counteract some of that inflation eating away at the cash, and it gives me peace of mind, so I'm okay with it. And then the real estate, hopefully that doesn't keep on decreasing, depending on the real estate market. Hopefully it starts increasing in the next 2 or 3 years, but we'll see. Taxable account, my goal is to build that bigger and bigger, so that will help me fire, or they call it financial independence, retire early, I believe. So my goal, in order to retire before I'm 60, I think having a huge taxable account will help me do that. 403B, great if it keeps on getting bigger, but obviously that won't help me retire early, even though overall it will be great if I don't touch it, as that will compound over time as well. And then obviously I have very small amounts in the rollover IRAs and the Roth IRA. But again, if my job situation changes, I'll probably increase the Roth IRA amount. I was able to add a little bit last year, but I'm usually on the kind of the borderline of whether I can contribute to the Roth IRA or not. And yes, I know there's the backdoor Roth IRA option, but a little complicated, as I don't believe you can do backdoor Roths if you have rollover IRAs. So a little complicated.